Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. It's another installment of our weekly designer chat on Friday afternoon. We're super excited to have you guys here. Happy Friday to you too, Jen. Appreciate that.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for
It is Friday. Love it, Grace. Super excited that it's almost the weekend. We've made it yet through another week of quarantine and social distancing. So congrats to everybody. And if you haven't been with us before for one of our designer chats, we are just trying to find ways to stay engaged with you guys during all these crazy times. So here we are. I'm Mia Farrell. I'm a designer with ACO, and we are here to help you love where you live with any interior remodeling needs you have. Kitchen, bath, flooring, we are here for you. I am joined today by Dani Cole. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Dani?
Sure. I'm an interior designer, and I've been with ACO for the past 3 years. I started my career in the architecture degree. I actually graduated with the college, and I went back and pursued like an interior design, which is my true passion. Then when I moved to US, I went back to school again for a master's in interior design. So that was a little bit of my background. I also taught interior design at a college level at Purdue, IUPUI, and the Art Institute before going back fully on remodel. So,
fun fact, Dani was one of my instructors when I was in.
Oh my gosh, I feel old now.
I had to put it out there. I can't just not talk about it. Most of what I know, I learned from Dani. So thanks for being an awesome instructor. Dani is awesome at what she does. A lot of the beautiful remodel photos that are shared on our Facebook, on our Instagram, come from Dani's designs.
Thank you.
Keep an eye out for those pictures and, keep following. So we are going to talk a little bit today about what our process is like. So if you are interested or have any sort of needs that we can help you with, during this weird time, we've kind of had to pivot and adapt and change our process up a little bit so that we can work with you kind of in this way, virtually, hopping on calls like this, finding different ways to get creative to work together. So Dani's going to walk us through what our new process looks like. We've got a nice visual representation too that kind of makes everything really easy to understand. Our wonderful producer Shane is going to pull that up for us so we can kind of go through some of these steps of our process that we've had to change, and we can talk a little bit too about some experiences that we've had in working with our clients and what we've seen.
Sure. And then the process is also on our website. So if anyone has any questions, they want to go back later, you can see all the process in there too. So on that little chart, it's very easy to read and see. So you'll be able to see that most of the process we're going to do virtually instead of in the client's house like we used to do in the past. So for a lot of people, that is it's a benefit. So we were able to do the design process, selections, pricing, all of them to the design doing virtually. So one of the things that I usually do, I start the design process with the clients, and it could be with a FaceTime, it could be in a phone call. Sometimes we can use Zoom, just so they can kind of share their space with me for the first time, and they walk me through so I can see their wants, their needs. I can see what's working for them, what's not working. We can talk about finishes, what they like, what they don't like. And sometimes clients send me pictures from House or Pinterest, or even from magazines, just to give me an idea about what they're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when people first hear that we can do a consultation like this virtually instead of coming out to their house, it might raise an eyebrow. Like people might think, okay, how can you really get an idea of what I need and what we need to do here if you're not physically in my house? I've had some success through photos and homeowners walking me through their kitchen, on FaceTime or on a Zoom call. Have you had experience with that too, Dani?
Yeah, I had a client actually this week that it's a kitchen remodel. So we're looking at some countertop options, and we are talking over the phone, and I had the pictures before, so I knew what he was talking about. But at some point he said, I'm going to put in on the speaker. And I was like, okay. And then he just grabbed his tape measure and he said, it's 9 3/4. It's like, yeah, I just measured the back wall for you. And I was like writing it down. And so I was guiding him. I said, okay, can you measure now the countertop right side of your range? And, he is very precise. So sometimes clients will just be right there, get the tape measure and measure. Sometimes clients maybe prefer us to go there and do even the initial steps. I had clients who we did the process through FaceTime, and they said, I don't feel comfortable measuring. Would you come and measure? So I said, sure. And we have sanitation, protocol in place, so that would work fine too.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that, when you get to the point in our process where it's time for us to either come and verify measurements or actually come do the installation, there are lots of precautions that we've taken to make sure that we're being safe and we're keeping you safe and we're not bringing anything into your home that could be harmful to you. Actually, one of our project managers, Bailey, created these sanitation stations that we are started implementing on job sites, which is fantastic. We've got all of the equipment that we need, like booties and gloves and sanitizer, kinds of things that we need to have to make sure that we're being safe and we're wiping off any surfaces that we touch. As designers on the front end, we can take precautions as well, and it doesn't have to just be on the installation scope. We can be as safe as we absolutely need to be so that we can do what we need to do.
Yeah. So going back to that kitchen that I have this nice homeowner who was able to measure, with his measurements and the pictures, I was able to design the floor plan and get some pricing on countertop and backsplash and get all the scope of the work and all the pricing already without being in his house. So
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. It's nice. It's pretty easy to get a good start. Obviously, we want to be responsible for the measurements that we're using for the actual installation. We're not going to put that responsibility on any home.
Sure. Yeah.
There will take care of it, but it's nice to be able to get a really good idea of what the overall measurements are so that we can get a good proposal put together for the project. I think that there's varying levels of comfort that people have with technology. Like you said, the homeowner that you were working with, they picked up a tape measure and went to town. There are apps available that we've worked with as well. There's a couple specific ones that are listed on our website within our process. Can to Plan is one of them, and Magic Plan is the other one. One is a little more advanced than the other one, I'd say, but I think that they're both pretty intuitive and pretty easy to use once you kind of download it and work with it a little bit. So if you're a little more tech savvy and would prefer to do it that way, it's nice because then you don't have to get out a tape measure and do it the old school way. It's really a matter of what you're comfortable with. The beauty of it is that there is all the technology available, and we can also go the old school route and kind of guide you through the measurements that we do need.
Correct. Yeah. But yeah, and then once we get, the pricing and the design and some of the selections, I will go back and I'll double check the measurements to make sure we have everything ready. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely want to be responsible for those. So as far as design selections, we have a brand new showroom that we are not able to invite everybody to come to. And within that showroom are lots and lots of samples of beautiful materials. Yeah. So how have you around being able to share palettes and design inspiration and, what actual materials you're talking about using on a project?
Yeah, so talking to the client and knowing if they want to go, a lighter countertop, darker countertop, it's quartz, it's, granite. So after we narrow down some of the options, for this client, I send him the link of the samples by the colors that he was looking for. We narrow down even more. And then what I do with some clients is I just bring the samples and leave in their porch. Really actually see the sample and see if the white is really white or is more like a beige or
right.
The veins, because this is a lot of details on countertop. And we can do the same thing with the tiles and wood floors, whatever is the cabinet doors. And then the client can actually look at the samples. I heard from many clients that they love the virtual process, but they are afraid they will not be able to touch and feel how the sample look like. So
right.
Dropping off in their porch, in their house, it's great. They can just let me know, hey, option A, it's great. I like B, or do you have something a little darker or lighter? And then we can kind of really narrow down to the options just by that process.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to be able to have the actual samples to touch and feel, and there's no reason that we can't take them from the showroom, take them right to you, so we don't have to, make you leave and come to the showroom to see them. We can accommodate that for sure, and that there are other apps too, so we can keep going virtually on that too.
Yeah, I really like the virtual process. I have done a little bit before, even before this whole thing started. I had clients who travel a lot, or their doctors, and they're not available
Yeah.
every week. So sending the drawings digitally and sharing my screen and explaining all the things in the floor plan, it was a great way too. So I think more and more clients with the, will be open to that option too. So it's been working fine for me, sharing screen and emailing drawings and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's crazy the things that have happened and the way that things have changed. I think that it's a huge reality that things might just be more like this from now on. People might, dig doing things virtually and want to continue on that process more. Like you said, people that travel a lot and, it's hard to find time to physically meet together, but we can get the process going without having to set up that meeting. So I think that there's a lot to be said here for the way that we will do things in the future. So I know that you've had success with a particular app, Morpholio Board, in regard to sharing selections. Do you want to talk a little bit about that as well?
Sure. So sometimes in the early process, that's an example for one that I did for a master bath. Talk to the client, they walk me through their space. So I was able to see how big the space was, if it will fit a freestanding tub or not, what we're gonna do. So I created this using Morpholio Board. It's just like a mood board presentation with some of the things that they were looking for. They had this old garden tub in the corner that they didn't like it, take too much space. So I proposed a freestanding tub. So the Morpholio Board kind of help us put just inspirations and the whole concept together. Our color scheme, what goes in the space. They have a big area for a vanity. So I'm proposing a tower cabinet in the middle. So a little bit help with the storage and separates his and hers. They were looking for, in a specific project, the waterproof flooring in the bathroom instead of tile. So I think it's a good idea that they can kind of see the visual and see how the colors play together. We just have an overall before we start really selecting each finish. So, and that's an easy way for the client to open up and see all that's in there, all the options.
Yeah, absolutely. Then you're not taking all of the samples out of the showroom and delivering them to the front porch.
All that in the car it would be a lot.
We're not going to move the showroom all over again.
Yeah. But it helps narrow down, for example, if they want a specific tile size, it's a subway tile, or it's a 12 by 24 tile, or it's a chevron tile.
Right.
Things like that, or as far as the flooring too. So I think help clients going from all those pictures, because if you go on House or Pinterest or even online, there's so many options, so many pictures.
So many.
It can be overwhelming. So
yeah.
Our job, by narrowing it down and showing them in a page like that, it helps them see, oh, I like this, oh, I like lighter or darker. So it's a good part to do that. So I've been very successful with that with clients.
Yeah, that's great. This is beautiful. And a lot of our viewers think so too. So anybody that's tuned in, if you guys have any questions about our virtual process, how we're doing things these days, we're happy to answer them for you. We've got, there's a lot to making these changes to do things virtually. It is a change in mindset. It's a change in the way our day-to-day is. It's very different to do things this way, and to, for us as designers, we're used to walking into somebody's house and being able to have that one-on-one person-to-person interaction, and doing it this way can be really different. But I think that, we're able to overcome a lot of those things by, just a little shift in mindset and saying, that's okay. We can adapt to this, and we can get past it and work with all of the technology around us to be able to help you guys through any projects that you have. So.
there's anyone that's watching that, has a question about specific about their kitchen, their bathroom, or any room in their house, please send us our way. We'll be happy to take a look and brainstorm some ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like everybody is a big fan of that bathroom, though. So,
oh yeah,
me too. I love that chevron tile. I think that's really
nice
tile. It's very popular these days. Those kind of different shapes too. So that's nice. Well, I think that we have gone through the process, start to finish. Like I said, everything that we're doing these days is just to continue business, as we say, unusual, because it's unusual times, and we're doing what we can to adapt to help you all love where you live, no matter what. So thank you so much, Dani, for joining me today.
You're welcome.
With me again next week.
Yes,
if everyone wants to tune in again next week, we're going to be talking with Shannon of Du Chateau, talking about some flooring trends. So awesome stuff coming up next week too. So thanks so much for tuning in today, guys.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you guys next week. I'll be back, talk about flooring. So yeah, this is fun. So if you guys have any other questions, please feel free to send it to us. We'll maybe go back and talk about that next week. So
yeah, we'll be here.